Hey guys, it's Ebony, one half of your favorite moms from Team 2 Moms, back with you guys for another Parenting with Pride video. Now, today is June 30th, which means that this is the end of June, which means this is the last episode of my mini series, but I'll go into it a little bit more towards the end of the video about what we're gonna do with this series. So stick around to the very last end. So I am super excited to bring this family to you today. This family I had the opportunity to meet while I was at VidCon last week, and it was an amazing time, and I was on a panel, and you're going to be talking today to a father and his daughter, and the father was our moderator for the panel. And when I met them, I instantly was like, oh my gosh, I would love for them to be the cap of this mini-series for Pride Month. All right, so let's get into it. Guys, introduce yourself.
I am Presley, and I have 3 channels: Act Out Games, which is a family vlog; Bite Size DD, which is educational content; and That's a Great Question, which is my interviews. And I'm from all of those channels, and I am queer. So yeah, that's my intro. That is who I am.
And I'm Presley's dad, and that's pretty much my role on all these channels. Is that Presley's not old enough to have a channel herself, and so we participate so that her channels don't get shut down.
I just thought it was such a great opportunity to have a father who is a cis male, he is heterosexual, and his daughter who identifies being queer, and I just thought it was just amazing, the dynamics between the two of them and their relationship as father and daughter. Again, the purpose of this series was to pretty much share other people's stories and for you guys to learn from their experiences. And I felt as though we needed to have an ally of the LGBTQ plus community as seen through being a parent. So let's jump right into the interview. So Brian, tell us, how did you feel when your daughter came out to you?
You know, it was a long journey. I think, you know, Presley started the channel when she was 7, or I guess we started together when she was 7 years old. And one of the things we did early on were these videos called Presley's Perspectives. And so we would talk about things that were going on in the world that were sort of bigger world issues. And her and I would just sit down and have a conversation about them to get her take and see what a kid thought about these things that were happening in the world. And one of the first ones we did was when Prop 8 was being argued in California. Like, I could see during that first conversation something sort of clicked and resonated with her a little bit in that conversation. And then over the next few years, you know, she was gravitating towards a lot of the LGBT community on YouTube. I could tell she was exploring her identity, basically. We could see that for a long time. And so there was sort of this long process, and so it wasn't this sort of immediate shock announcement. And I think Presley likes to say that she accidentally came out to both of us. I think either subconsciously or consciously, I think she was just kind of trying it on. The first time she sort of called herself a lesbian or said I'm gay to us, I think it had been through this process, and it was more, I think my response was, okay, so you're identifying as gay now. Like that's where you've made the transition to where you're actually making, I think exactly what I said was also that you're identifying that way now, and then we sort of moved on. So I don't think we were particularly shocked because we had such a long runway from it. And I was actually a little relieved and kind of happy that she had used these role models that she had found online to kind of find her identity and find herself.
So at this point, you guys are probably wondering, how old is Presley? So Presley, why don't you tell my audience, how old are you?
I am currently, as this is being filmed, 11, but I'm going to be turning a 12 on July 12th. So depending on when this goes up, I'm either 11 or 12. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's how old I am. Woo.
Wow, she is only 11 years old, going on 12. To many watching this, you're probably looking at her saying that she's so young. So Presley, tell me, have you ever thought to yourself, maybe I am too young to identify my sexual orientation, my sexuality at this age? Have you ever struggled with that conflict?
Honestly, I really haven't come to that point because I've always thought that point was ridiculously stupid. So, like, I never had a point in which I said, well, maybe I'm too young. Because I know who I am right now, and I might be different when I am an adult, but I'm still the way I am right now, and those are the words I'm using, and I can't really see them changing.
Presley, are you sure you're 11? Because I am just in awe with your confidence and how strong-minded you are, and kudos to you, and your parents are doing such an amazing job. Then her father jumped in as well, and he made a really great, valid analogy, or so to speak, point.
We talk a lot. I think, you know, if you watch Presley's coming out video or you watch some of the conversations we've had about it, we talk a lot about this weird duality where if someone who's 30 says, I knew when I was 6, that's kind of celebrated. And
like,
people sort of,
yay.
people think that's fantastic. And but if someone who's 10 says they know now, people are like, oh my God, that's impossible. You can't possibly know.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. If you're old, most people who come out in their 20s and their 30s have usually say, I've known since I was young. I knew since I was born. And that is like so celebrated. But when it's a child who's already, who has put it into the universe at such a young age versus coming out later on in life, why would society look at it as though they don't know what they're talking about? How could they identify at such a young age? How can they truly know what their sexuality is? And Presley, you got that down, nail pack. You're definitely doing great representing the younger generation, the younger youth of the LGBTQ plus community. Now, Brian, Dad, tell me, your baby girl here who has her own YouTube channel, who is sharing such a huge part of her life with pretty much the world. I mean, just in general, as a parent, do you have any concerns about your daughter being a part of the LGBTQ community?
Boy, that's a really great question, right?
Hey, that's my channel name.
It is. That's why we called it your channel. I think my bigger, overarching concerns are no different than any other parent. You know, I'm worried about her teenage years and her adolescence and her first heartbreak and her first dating experience and what that's going to do to me as a father. And I don't view that as significantly different in my head than, you know, if she were straight and it was a boy that she was going out with. I think that, you know, I worry a little bit about, you know, any abuse that she will face. Of course, I mean, it can be a hard position to be in, and she's going to face antagonism because of who she is, and I hate that. I do think that because she's starting younger and identifying, and she's so self-confident with who she is, and she has such awesome role models out there, especially in the YouTube community like yourself, and again Ash and Hannah and all of these people, those people will make her stronger, and not only will they make her better able to stand up to those kinds of abuses that she may face, they make her less likely to face those kinds of abuses because they're kind of clearing the way, and people are becoming a lot more accepting. Like her life path will be easier than any generation before her's life path because of what people have done for her, which is not to say that she won't face adversity because of who she is. And I think that's horrible, but you know, I think that she's mentally strong enough to take it. She's pretty tough and confident in who she is, and I think in the end it'll make her a better person.
Aren't you guys just falling in love with her dad? Like, he's like, to me, super dad. Like, he's awesome. And also, Presley also has the support, if you're wondering, also has the support of both her parents. Both her mom and her dad support her 100%, and that is just super duper amazing. And Presley, I have this strong feeling that you're going to be okay as you get older and transition to different milestones in your life, because you just exude such confidence. So, at times, unfortunately, Denise and I get emails from the youth of our LGBTQ plus community asking for us to adopt them, asking for such support, wishing that they had parents like Olivia and was surrounded by that love. And it's so unfortunate that not every child have supportive parents. Presley, as a young adult who has parents that support you in your totality, tell me, what advice would you give to our youth?
So let's start with, if you are planning on coming out to them, just the biggest thing that I feel like needs to be said to every queer kid ever is don't come out if you don't feel safe. Don't feel pressured. Like if you have a bunch of friends who have come out, don't feel pressured because you're the last person that hasn't done it yet. If you don't feel safe in your situation, never come out until you are 100% ready and you are sure you will get support, or if you don't, you have like a backup plan or something like that. Just make sure that you are safe in your situation before you do anything. And if you already have come out and you don't have any support or anything like that, I would say like you need to, there's a lot of tips online for living in dangerous situations in your household.
Be safe. Like
Yes.
that's one of the most important things is be safe. But like Presley is growing up again in such a different world than I grew up in. Like when I was young, like even in high school, I think, like if I'm thinking back on it, I think I had one like openly gay friend. And that person,
You had a token gay friend?
like there was but their peer group were the group of people that we went to school with, and that's sort of all they had a choice of people to hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
And Presley has, again, all of these amazing resources at her fingertips, both like from YouTube and watching people to like communities online to be a part of, and find a supportive community out there.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your the family that you're born into, you can choose your chosen family.
Yeah, your chosen
right?
family.
Your chosen family that you want to have.
I couldn't agree anymore. If you're coming out, please make sure that you are safe and in a safe environment. Now, Dad, Brian, tell me, if my audience had the opportunity to show this video to their parents who are struggling knowing that their child is gay, what advice would you give directly to their parents?
For me, it's all about perspective, right? What's important, what matters. What matters to me is that Presley is healthy and happy and confident and pursues her dreams and lives her life the way that she is. And like everything else kind of is secondary and kind of falls to the wayside. So I think if you put your priorities in order, and what you want for your child should be their happiness above just about anything else. And all of us have had times when we weren't able to be ourselves in some situation, right? Like I put myself back in that situation a little bit and think about it and amplify that a million times to think about someone who's constantly living their life not being able to be who they really are and who they feel like they are. And I can't imagine how someone would ever really like wish that life on their child. My advice, if someone were to ask me, what is your advice for people going through this or doing this, my advice is be a good parent.
Yeah.
That's all. And being a good parent means love your kid and support your kid. And it doesn't matter like what you're supporting them in or what you're loving them through is sort of irrelevant to me. Just be a good parent and be there and love and support your kid. And then all the other stuff will come along and it'll all work out. And you don't have to think about the details of, oh, but what if my kid is gay? Or, oh, what if my kid is trans? Or what if my kid is this? Or what if they're not neurotypical? Or like none of that matters if your rule of thumb is be a good parent and love and support your kid.
Love and support your kid. Well said, Brian and Presley. Thank you guys both so much for being a part of this interview. I think that this is just a really good, well-rounded story to share with my audience, and you guys have been great.
Thank you so much for having me on the channel, and thank you so much to everyone watching, and I hope that some advice given in this video really helped you guys out, as well as has made you a better, if you're a parent watching this, has made you a better person if your kid showed this to you. So make sure to hit that subscribe button on Team 2 Mom's channel, because their channel is absolutely amazing, as well as if you liked what we said in this video, wander over to our channel and hit the subscribe button over there as well.
Yeah, come over to Act Out Games and ask any questions you want. Like, we're more than happy to talk and follow up. And if you want to have more questions and have another conversation about this, feel free. Come by, ask us questions.
As always, guys, since you guys are probably one of the most loving and supportive community, like I said, please go check out their channel. I will have the link down below to Presley's coming out video, as well as to her and her dad's channel, Act Out Games. So please click the link down below and go show them some Team 2 Moms love. All right, you guys, thank you so much for showing so much love and support to all the families that we have shown throughout this mini series, Parenting with Pride, throughout the month of Pride. Don't worry, I will come back with this series. The amount of love and support and encouragement from you guys, really, how can I put this to rest? I have to continue with it. So just give me some time. I want to this time build up some episodes, so I will be contacting other people. You don't have to have a YouTube channel. I know some people also emailed me who are willing to share their stories. So I will be using the rest of the summer to pretty much build this series back up and hopefully drop it back out for the fall. You guys are truly amazing. I love you guys so much. Happy Pride Month, and it doesn't just stop here. We should be celebrating LGBTQ plus community every single month, and we should always keep fighting the fight for equality. All right, you guys, it is Team 2 Moms. 1, 2, 3. Peace.